Here is a short film showing some of the items in my Major Mason collection. As with some of the other films I've done, I'll be the first to agree I've not got the biggest collection in the world. Most of it's loose. There's a few boxed items, as you'll see, but Major Mason was a character that meant a great deal to me as a kid, being very much into the space race and obviously Action Man and action figures in the late 60s. So this little fella very much was a combination of almost all the things I was into. I'll start off with Major Matt himself. This is none of these are ones I had as a child. They've all bit the dust. But this is one that I've bought. I mean, initially I just wanted to get one Major Matt figure as a kind of a keepsake, as a character I liked as a kid. Then I thought, I'd like to upgrade to get a better one. Then I thought, it'd be nice to get some of the other characters, perhaps an accessory or two, until the collection grew to what it is now. But I think I've probably about hit the limit of what I'll be getting, because it's all pretty expensive now on eBay. But anyway, this is the first issue Major Matt Mason. It's the white rubber version. The black section, the bellows as people refer to them, on the knees and the elbows were the painted sections, whereas later on, as on this guy, he was mainly made in black rubber and the white sections were painted. Now, although ultimately there was more paint to come off on these, the main areas where the character would be moved at the joints was black, so paint wouldn't fall off there, whereas on this fella, where all of the movement would happen, will be the knees and the elbows and the shoulders. And consequently they decided, after perhaps 6 months to a year of production in this style, maybe someone that knows more about Major Matt than me can confirm exactly how long, they changed from this all white with the black paint to the all black with the white paint. Anyway, that's Major Matt on the space sled with the backpack that anyone that remembers this figure knows about. It's the one that he harnesses up, goes up and down on the cord as if flying. This is his first companion in his team, Sergeant Storm, in his red uniform, as they say in the advert, and he's on a cat track. Now, a later edition of the characters came out on a bubble pack thing, sitting in these cat tracks. They came in two different colours, red and white, and this is Sergeant Storm on one of those. The next guy in the team, the two later editions, this is the first one, Doug Davis, wearing the yellow suit. Very nice head. Mattel always used good sculptors. This head very much like the Ken Barbie's boyfriend head from the late 60s. The original 60s had the crew cut. The later 60s had the plastic hair in the kind of the college boy style. And the heads are very, very similar, if not the same one that's been pantographed. I think that's the term, down or up. But I won't go in too close because I know this camera won't pick it up. Wearing the blue spacesuit is Doug Davis. Very nice looking face on this one too, and again top marks to Mattel during the late 60s wanting to have a black character as part of the team. So again, like Hasbro that had the black G.I. Joe character, toy companies pushing the boundaries there, where perhaps even television shows and film were a little bit scared to go into these areas, but toy companies were pushing ahead because obviously kids accept things and understand things perhaps more than adults would normally give them credit for. But the interesting thing obviously is with all of these four characters is the fact that they got the multicoloured space suits, a kind of a style that was established in films like Destination Moon, then later on 2001, and of course the English Hammer film Moon 02, which is a bit of a favourite of mine and a few of my pals. Some of the accessory pieces, the Supernaut or Powernaut limbs, very similar to Sigourney Weaver's equipment that she used to fight the Alien Queen in Aliens. You've got one of my only boxed pieces. This was a gift, so thanks very much, Chris, you know who you are. The Crawler, another one of the toys that everyone remembers from this range. Even if they didn't have it, they kind of go, you know, that thing with the wheels and the spiky things that stick out that goes over anything, so they all remember it. you've got some of these smaller accessory toys like this actually do things. Now this is pretty cool. It's got the pump action claws, and this is a kind of a digger thing that would have supposedly meant to dig the moon surface. And this other one, which is a pump action thing with small bellows, it makes the claws open. Next to him is an odd one in the series, Captain Laser. A lot of people aren't sure whether he was a figure that was already established and they kind of messed around with him to make him part of the team. Doesn't really fit in, particularly when the earlier characters, and certainly these fellas, are kind of real deal NASA style spacemen, perhaps the next generation of what may have happened if there had been a sort of exploration of space, as everyone was hoping, into the 70s, but still kind of based in reality. Whereas with these kind of characters, certainly Callisto, who was one of his friends, as they called him, from another world, they went very much into the science fiction area. Going up into the centrepiece, I suppose, of my collection, certainly the most expensive thing in my collection. There was a lot of begging and pleading for me to get this one, much as there was when I was a kid, but I didn't get one as a kid, but it certainly worked when I was an adult. In the top section there's a control area, a flashing beacon which actually does work, and when that's flashing it lights up the interior. Mattel, always very thrifty, used this inner section as part of the control room on their Moonbase Alpha Space 1999 playset. And similarly, Captain Laser became characters, he was done twice, characters from Battlestar Galactica. So there was some adaptation to him. And there's the box for the space station, big box, big toy. It all comes apart, but I actually have this on display like this. It makes a nice area to display the characters. Some print pieces that I often like to have if I can. As I say, these collections aren't top of the range. There's guys that have got everything, mint, box, carded, you name it, they've got it. But these are oddments that I like to keep, and it's nice for people to see them. That's one of the catalogues that you get with the toys. Instruction sheet for the space station's construction. This is from a September 1967 edition of Superboy, and all of the DC comics of September 67, or dated September 67, had this double page advert. There's a kind of a mock comic strip culminating with Matt being dragged down into a lunar trench, and then it's kind of what happens next is up to you to decide, as long as you can get your mum and dad to buy you all these toys.